Hello, and welcome back to our segments on the state of our youth, because that's what we do here, right? We talk about where our young people are, those who are in the age group of K through 12, and those who have recently left the K through 12 system. And we talk about where they are, what their potentiality is, and where we can help them navigate themselves to going. And again, it's not always about careers and jobs. It's mostly about finding themselves and being connected with their authentic selves so that they can thrive in life in general. And so today the data's in. We've known it for some time, but in my work and in my research, I found that one, we know that during the pandemic, a lot more families started educating from home. Some that were still a part of the traditional school system that were educating at home, they're still a part of the traditional system. But prior to the pandemic, only about 3% of the US population was actually involved in homeschooling, traditional homeschooling. And during the pandemic, that number increased to 13%. And that speaks volumes on what families are feeling with regards to the education delivery that they're experiencing and wanting to create opportunities for their young people that are not in direct alignment with the traditional public school system. And so at 13%, homeschooling outpaces the private and charter schools, private and parochial schools. And so that's important to know. I know that a few months ago I mentioned, some ideas of the statistics, but this is the most recent study that has been done. And I want to talk about where do we go from here with regards to our children, those who are still in the traditional K through 12 system and those that are homeschooled. How do we afford all of our young people, not just here in the US, but across the globe, the opportunity to thrive in such a way that they feel in complete alignment with themselves, not selling themselves short or selling themselves out in order to earn a paycheck. Because quite often, many of our young people who go to college and come out don't have employment. And even when they do, they're underemployed and they're burdened with a lot of debt that's here in the United States. And so for me, doing this research also helps me to understand the work that we've done over the last year has been for the good. And we've had proof, with our subset of the society that's worked with us, but seeing it on a grander scale is definitely helpful. So one of the things that we know and love is our Makerspace. Makerspaces, I think I've shared with you, that's one of my son's favorite things, which is utilizing the engineering model. And quite often, depending on the school system, our young people there aren't necessarily having Makerspaces. And with regards to at home, I would love to do a study to see how many families with homeschooling are incorporating Makerspaces into their development process of helping their young people develop the entrepreneurial mindset. And so, that's what we speak about a lot here at Noble Kiddo, because it's important. It's important for the future of our youth and the future of our society as a whole, because learning how to create a maker environment helps with inspiration, that ideation and coming up with ideas and working together with teams or, parent and child, however it comes out, in a brainstorming session. That's really, really important for our young people so that they can learn how to develop that ideation process, right? And not just come about with an idea and not think it through, so to speak, so that they can understand steps and methodology. Also getting them to a space of creation, right? I have this idea. Let me go and try to see if I can recreate this idea and go through trial and error, quite frankly, because in that process, you learn what might work, what may not work. You learn what materials are better than others, and so on and so forth. But then also opening up our young people's minds to intellectual property and understanding the value of that. So many people now, like there are a lot of people who work like at Google or Facebook or whatever, that have created patents that sometimes I think they sell off to Google, but sometimes they hold them, right? And these patents are valuable. We want young inventors. We want young creators. I talk about creative thinking all the time. It's important that we encourage our young people to not only create, but to understand the importance of ownership and retaining that ownership. And being able to, through the Makerspace, learning about more tools to help them. Like for us, we work on, there are different levels of Lego. And when you get to the part of Lego, when you're working in techno, and you're actually building robots, these things are really awesome for young people to learn before they grow into the VEX model of competing and really creating some amazing products and learnings, as well as 3D printing, which is something that I find uber awesome for our young people, because they learn how to program at the same time as create visually things that they want and then come out with a finished product. I mean, I recently learned about there's a 3D printer that is so large that it's 3D printing homes in Italy. Can you imagine it? A 3D printed home? Somebody's idea turned into that model, and they have the intellectual property on it, and our young people need to understand that. They also need to learn what it is to market their ideas and to put together a brand package and determine who the marketplace is that is interested in their products and so on and so forth. These are all things that our children need to learn. And I've been talking about this in bits and pieces for months about how our children need to understand. And now we talk about the government not moving as fast, I will say, with innovative thought and creative thought, but they're starting to move. It takes them longer, big machine, but they're starting to understand these important aspects of collaboration, of leadership, of financial literacy, so many different things that are coming down the pipe. But they're also starting to understand the entrepreneurial mindset and why it's extremely important in education, and why it's extremely important for you homeschoolers to understand the importance of it as well, because shifting the mind is really key for our young people to just be better adaptable to what is going to be required of them to engage in society. Again, let's not think about work and so on and so forth, but becoming an inventor could just be a life's passion. And whether or not our young people make money from it or not, it's neither here nor there. But they're actualizing something that matters to them. They're showing up authentically, as we speak of so often, and they're putting in the work. And they're, persevering through so many things, because when you're an inventor, there's so much opportunity there to see yourself fail. But being persistent and persevering through it all are characteristics we would want our children to have. And so I'm just grateful that all the research is showing up and it's being displayed. And I'm grateful for the growing homeschooling community. Can you imagine? That's a manyfold growth in less than a year. And the system is learning to adapt as well. And so I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in today. And we'll be going over many more things in the weeks and months to come. I am grateful for your active engagement in listening to our the information that we have to share. And hopefully you're implementing some of these ideas and thoughts with your young people. And if you ever have any questions, do feel free to reach out to us. We would love to communicate with you. info@nobokiddo.com. So with that being said, thank you so much. And I'll be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye now.